Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back once again. Today we have another red Premium Bandai kit to take a look at today. It's another HD P-Bandai kit here, just like with the Gundam Mark V, or not the Gundam Mark V, the Gundam 05, which we previously took a look at. This one is the Extreme Gundam Type LEOS Eclipse Face, another red HG, so very red theme we've got going on lately, but it's a very cool, pretty crazy design. This is from the game, right? Extreme On. Anyway, yeah, not really super familiar with that, although I do have to wonder if the Eclipse Face, if that's supposed to be Eclipse Phase. I thought it was Phase, but I'm thinking that maybe that's a little bit wrong translation there. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the box so that we can get the kit all built up, because I'm pretty excited to check this one out. Alright guys, let's get right down to business here. The Extreme Gundam Type LEOS Eclipse Phase, I'm gonna say. Here, the box art is very cool. It's the P-Bandai though, unfortunately, so it's all just monochrome there. But the kit is pretty much just red, orange, white, kind of basically for its colors. Around on the outsides of the box though, not going to be too much to see here with it being a P-Bandai kit. It's just kind of basic box art. We don't have anything about the details or the articulation or anything like that on the outside of the box. We'll have to dig in here, and right off the bat, it's a big sticker sheet for that. Oh my, don't like to see that. That is a lot of kind of those metallic orange stickers there. As you can see, like for the main kit, it's basically just kind of like the eye stickers. We'll take a look at this again here in a minute. So, oh man, that's not good. But it's a pretty thick box, so we got a good amount of runners in there. If we dig down to the bottom, we've got our instruction manual here, which also is completely not in color, so it's just all black and white manual again for this one here. It's a larger size though, full size manual. We have our parts list here at the bottom, and it looks like this is also coming with a little stand. That's nice. And a color guide. Where's the color guide? Color guide is in here as well too, just 4 colors. It has a body in red, and body in white, body in yellow, and body in metallic gray. So that's basically a red, white, yellow, and gray for the frame parts. So according to the official color guide, not a very colorful kit. The rest of this, of course, is just making up all of the construction of that. So of course you go through building all the armor, and then building the weapons, and then how to utilize those big massive cannons and things that I think are stored like on the back of the shoulders, not on the backpack, on the back of the shoulders. And then the other weapons, the extreme guitar weapon in there as well, the guitar and guitar case, beam rifle and shield there, of course, of the Extreme Gundam. Anyway, alright, so yeah, the sticker sheet, whew, that's a rough one. You got the eyes, head, and cameras there, that's all pretty standard. These couple little ones over here on the side, I mean, you'd expect that kind of for an HG, but man, all those orange ones are pretty rough. So we'll see how those end up actually going on. If those are like under clear parts or something like that, then, you know, not that big a deal, but we'll see. Then, yeah, here's our little base there, included base, which is just in clear. That's nice to have that included. And our polycaps here in gray, PC001. And our 8 runner here is in 4 colors. We have some yellow up there at the top, a couple of gray parts down here, dark gray, red all throughout the center, and then that clear orange there on the side. Now keep in mind, this is from the original Extreme Gundam kit, which came out in 2011, it looks like, for the date on the back of the runner there. So you can see, for example, here you have the beam saber all molded as one part, but fortunately, I don't think we'll really be using that much, and it doesn't include any other beam saber effect parts, strangely enough, so that's never good to see, but I don't think it will be that big of a deal for this particular kit. Our B runner here is just a bunch of parts there in white, once again just from the original kit back out in 2011. Same thing here for the C runner, as this is basically parts for the arms and the legs. We've got 2 of the C runner. Runner D1 is going to be some parts here in metallic gray for some hand parts, weapons parts, joint parts, things like that. Then we've also got runner D2, which is a copy of this little part of the runner right there for some joint parts. Now we're getting into some new parts that are out specifically for this particular Gundam, out in 2020. Runner E1 here is some parts in white, then runners E2 and E3 are some parts here in clear orange, so some additional little clear orange parts, and these are in the kind of harder type clear parts. The plastic, sometimes your clear parts can be in a little bit softer or like a little bit harder, kind of a little bit more brittle plastic. These are in the harder type plastic, so just make sure you're careful with these. Runner F1 is some more parts in red here, basically for like the shoulders and the shoulder equipment with the big massive cannons and all that. And then we do also have runner F2, which is a copy of this part of the runner there. And lastly, runner G, which again is some more parts for the new equipment, including new beam rifles, which are very cool, very large beam rifles that it's got now, including some new hand parts on here as well too. This is in just a dark metallic gray color. And we do also have runner G2, which is going to be a copy of this portion of the runner right there. So there you have it, guys. It's got mostly, you know, parts from the original kit and just some new parts for like the new equipment. I've never built the original kits, so it'll be an entirely new experience for me, but it'll be interesting to see how that compares. 2011 is not that old. HG kits at that time were not that bad, so it's not like it's going to be a super dated kit. I don't have any expectations of it feeling that dated, but we'll see how much I can sense that it's now a 10-year-old kit, basically, for the most part. And yeah, these stickers are kind of the main thing that's got me worried, but let me go ahead and get it put together, and then we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up, and I gotta say, kind of mixed feelings about this. Straight out of the box, obviously all those stickers are gonna be the main thing that's gonna be a big disappointment. It's not really that bad, it's just kind of, you never really have fun putting a lot of stickers on a kit. That's just not really very fun. And the other thing is that you really feel the age of this kit simply based on the proportions. I feel like the proportions definitely give off that older, like a Seed era HG kit, and so that's unfortunate. So definitely I think I would want to make some changes to the proportions of this kit a little bit. The colors straight out of the box, I mean, are fine. I mean, anytime you have that bright red color, it's going to be looking a little bit toy-like, and the clear parts I think do look cool, but I think this in general is going to look so much better when it's painted. Just the plastic as it is, just straight out of the box, it looks very much like a toy. That said, there are still some really cool design features, and especially obviously the new equipment that does look very cool, so I think that could still yet be a saving grace of this kit. But let's go ahead and check it out. So what all do you get included here with this kit? Well, you have a handful of leftover parts, which are all pretty inconsequential, but here for your hands, you've got this set of holding hands there. You've also got a set of trigger finger hands, which you'll use for your rifles. And here, those are new parts for this kit. They're basically just two pieces sandwiched together, so you'll have a little bit of a seam line on some bits, but it looks like a lot of that is molded as a panel line there. So they kind of detailed this up quite a bit, and you got stickers on there, of course. It's almost too detailed when you compare this, how detailed this is, to this, which looks like an older HG. Not a lot of detail on there. It's kind of an odd combination of the two. I don't feel like it really goes that well with it. These rifles I'll probably end up using for something else and not going together with this kit. Then around here on the backpack, you've got two beam saber handles, but when you pull that out of there, you notice, oh, not going to be plugging any effect parts into that. So what we have instead is a toothpick here, a red one. So your handle is in the wrong color, and the beam is in the wrong color, so you'll definitely have to do some painting on this one here as well. And then you've got the original guitar case shaped shield, complete with guitar shaped beam rifle inside of there, so that stores up inside there, which I admit is kind of, I don't like at all the fact that it's shaped like a guitar. That's stupid. But just the concept of the beam rifle fitting onto the inside of the shield there, I mean, I do like that. So you've got the attachment piece and then the handle here for the shield there. Obviously this handle up here on the top as well too. And that's just basically those couple of pieces. And the beam rifle as well too is basically your standard Gundam beam rifle where the front handle moves, the camera on the top moves a little bit, but it's just in this case shaped like a guitar for reasons. The main handle does also move as well too, so I guess that might be helpful for holding the rifle properly. So it might be a little bit awkward to hold, I think. But anyway, I mean, it's a gimmick thing. If you're into it, then I mean, it looks fine. It's not something that I'm into, so I don't know. And then we have, of course, our little base, which is a welcome addition. I mean, that's always nice to have. That just plugs up right into there underneath the hip section. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the kit itself, at its articulation and everything. Starting off with the head here, I think it's an alright design there from the front. Obviously, you're going to want to get rid of the safety flags on the top of the V-fin there. That's going to make it look a lot better right away. You've got stickers there for the camera and the eyes. You also have stickers for the gray pieces there on the side of the head. Those are just molded all in white. Around here on the back of the head, we've got another V-fin that's inverted and another sticker there because there's another Gundam face on the back of there. I never knew that the Extreme Gundam had a face on the back of its head as well too, and I'm guessing that's supposed to be able to like turn around for some like extreme mode or something like that. I'm not familiar with this Gundam. Sorry guys, I don't really know about that. That said, the manual for this kit doesn't mention anything about using the kind of separate head here. Or I guess separate face, I should say, and I'm trying to rotate that. It seems like the V-fin should just be able to rotate around, and it's very tight, so I'm really worried about breaking that off, trying to rotate that. But anyway, you can see there's the other face there on the back of the head, it just ends up being covered up by these parts, and it's a design feature that I definitely do not care for. I think the head looks alright from the front, but I don't really like this all going around here on the back. While we're here on the back of the kit though, I will just also mention about the backpack. We have a little bit of movement here with the kind of lower parts of the backpack. Those can move up and down. The head articulation itself will also go up to about there, down to about there. Not too much. I wish that could go up a little bit more, but again, considering the kit, it's not that big a deal. The torso section does have a little bit of bend there, forward and back, a little bit of movement, but not really a whole lot. You have rotation here at the hip section there. Shoulder joint will swing out to the front, and then you can bring the arms up. These massive pieces of equipment here on the tops of the shoulders can be removed. You just slide that off of there. You can just have the shoulders like that if you prefer. And these have the mode where you are meant to drop this shield part down and rotate this whole bit around to the front, like that, and then the barrel of these kind of cannons here on the shoulder can be extended out. This whole thing slides out like that. Those are meant to be just cannons here on the front of the shoulder, which, I mean, it's a pretty cool gimmick. I'll give it that. That's pretty nice. The manual shows you to place it so like you're holding on to handles or something like that on the back there. I don't know if it's meant to have a handle on the back of here, but it doesn't. So I guess you can just pose it to make it look like it's got like a handle on the back of this kind of shield part. But basically that just slides back up. You close this back up, rotate that back around, and it all goes back up there to form this gigantic shoulder section. Now, just as for the equipment which we took off, this side doesn't do anything. It's just, that's what it is. What you see is what you got there. That nothing moves or anything. Stickers obviously on this, sticker, that red bit's a sticker there. The opposite side is the one that will actually be used. So that comes apart. You're meant to rotate the whole thing around to the front once again, like we saw just a minute ago. You just kind of extend this whole thing out, and then this also has a barrel that will slide out of the end of that like that. So you have this big, long, massive cannon there like that, which is, I mean, pretty cool. There doesn't seem to be, as far as I can tell, I can't really get this to lock into place. It seems like there should be like some sort of little locking mechanism here to keep these straight, but I think you just have to try to get it to be straight and then don't touch it. Obviously, I think weight is probably going to be a little bit of an issue with this, basically putting a lot of weight on your ball joint shoulder connection there. But I mean, it's holding it up pretty well, depending on how you're posing it. It's not sinking down a little bit. No, it's not too bad. It's mostly hollow, so these parts don't weigh a whole lot, but yeah, I can definitely tell there's a little bit of a weight issue there, as you might expect. We'll just go over the rest of the articulation here. These little bits of front skirt armor will move. They're kind of hard to get to though. They don't really move all that much. Those are just kind of, basically just consider those stuck in place for the most part. These side skirts are also quite unique because you have these parts which will connect onto the side skirts, which seem like they should do something, but as far as I can tell, they don't. This part moves, and then this part moves like that. And that's really kind of about it. So there's not really anything that you can do with these other than that, but you can just open these up like this, plugged onto the side skirt, and they're symmetrical, so you can plug one onto the one on the other side and one on the other side. I mean, they're symmetrical, the same on the left and the right. The back skirt going around to here does move a little bit there, so you got the clear and the red parts, which do look pretty cool for your back skirt. The hips are just ball and socket joints, so don't expect too much articulation out of those. They can go out to the side to about there, which is not too bad. Forward to about there, no rotation at the top, so you're pretty limited as to how far you can rotate the top of the leg there. That said, the whole hip section can rotate, can swivel a little bit side to side there like that. As for our knee joint, it is a double joint, but it still is only going to give you a little bit more than 90 degrees there, so unfortunately not very much of a bend. And then down here, the ankle armor feels quite loose. I don't feel like it's going to fall off. It feels stuck in there well enough, and just by the way that it plugs in there, it's not going to just fall off and get lost on its own, but it's still just a little bit unsettling how that feels kind of loose on there. The foot will go up to there, back down to there, up underneath the feet. You got a nice full detail there, so that's good. A little bit side to side movement there, not too much. It's a basic ball joint for the most part, so I mean, there's not really too much that you can do there with the ankle. It should allow for a pretty wide enough stance, and as you guys saw at the start of the review segment here, you can stand, even with the heavy equipment up on the top of the shoulders, and that's kind of on the back. It does make it pretty back heavy, but it still can stand on its own, which is impressive enough. And as we wrap up the review here by taking a look at some different action poses using the different accessories and everything, just a couple other things about how to work some of the accessories and things like that. For example, mounting the shield onto the forearm. First of all, it's very difficult because those massive shoulders make it very limited as to the different poses you can do holding the shield. Basically, the shield is very large, the shoulders are very large, and that doesn't really mix well, so those are just going to be crashing into each other. And how you attach the shield is you have to remove the clear orange part on the side of the arm in order to attach the shield onto the arm there, so you have to do that. And then as for the gigantic buster launcher cannon that it's got to do, I was struggling to find any sort of locking mechanism for that. There is sort of a locking mechanism in that, like, you kind of slide the joint parts down a little bit and that sort of kind of locks it in place a little bit better. Not all that much though. And also, when you slide out the barrel tip of that, there's a little 3mm peg hole there for attaching that up onto an action base. So the included action base that you get with this, the little base there, is almost kind of meant more for just holding up the cannon, and so then you're just kind of are meant to, I guess, just have the kit just standing on its own, and then you use the base to hold up the cannon. I guess that's what that's there for. But if you have it on their base, of course, you can put the suit up on a base and then put the cannon on the different base, or vice versa, whatever. So anyway, for doing a cool pose with the cannon, I would recommend having two bases, one for the suit and then another one for holding up the cannon, as it does have a built-in point for plugging that onto an action base, which is nice, I guess, to help support the weight. But basically with this kit, you really just feel like it's just an old kit. It doesn't really, nothing really about this kit really feels all that new, except for the new beam rifles, which are very nicely detailed. They just don't really seem to go with this kit that well. And one other thing that I did also forget to mention about the two rifles is that those can be plugged together to each other, so you can have like a double rifle, sort of Wing Gundam custom sort of kind of thing. So I don't know, guys. Well, it's a cool design. I gotta say, if you're not that big of a fan of the design, then I would definitely pass on this one. If you are a big fan of the design, then go for it. I think it's not all that bad. It's not that great of a kit. It's certainly not the best HG kit I've built. It's probably one of the worst HG kits that I've built in a while. But that said, I mean, it's just a very unique design. So if you like it, if you're a fan of this, then check it out if you can get it for a decent price. It's just kind of a shame that Bandai didn't make some more updates to the kit if they were going to release it like this. But honestly, if they were going to be basing it off of the old kit, there's not a lot that they could do without doing like a complete overhaul to really make it up to today's standards for an HG. So I didn't have that high expectations for it. I was just hoping that the new parts would be very cool, and the new parts are cool. They just don't really, I'm not sure if they do enough to, you know, really salvage the build overall. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. What do you think about the kit? Worth it or not? Are the stickers a huge put off for you guys? I know that's one thing that I'm sure a lot of you will be complaining about. But I mean, just overall kind of the general design and proportions of everything is kind of the bigger thing for me personally. But it is based off of pretty old HG, so I mean, can't really blame it too much for that. So until next time, guys, I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you all so much for watching, for your support, and I'll see you all later. Have a good one. Bye, guys.